वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सताम्। Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, Answers by citing the Lord's version. Text 31. Yes. श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यां तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। Please chant. श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च विज्ञानमया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञान-परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे यद्विज्ञान-समन्वितं सरहस्यं तद-अṅgaṁ च गृहाणा गदितं मया। श्री-भगवानुवाच ज्ञानं परम-गुह्यं मे yad-vijñāna-samanvitam sa-rahasyam tad-aṅgaṁ ca gṛhāṇa gaditam mayā. śrī-bhagavān uvāca jñānam parama-guhyaṁ me yad vijñāna-samanvitam sarahasyaṁ tad-aṅgaṁ ca gṛhāṇa gaditam mayā. śrī-bhagavān uvāca jñānam parama-guhyaṁ me yad vijñāna-samanvitam sa-rahasyam tad-aṅgaṁ ca gṛhāṇa gaditam mayā. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Personality of Godhead said, jñānam, knowledge acquired, parama, extremely, guhyam, confidential, me, of me, yat, which is, vijñāna, realization, samanvitam, coordinated, sa-rahasyam, with devotional service, tad, of that, aṅgam ca, necessary paraphernalia, gṛhāṇa, just try to take up, gaditam, explained, mayā, by me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. The Personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. Purport. Lord Brahma is the topmost devotee of the Lord within the universe, and therefore the Personality of Godhead replied to his 4 principal inquiries in 4 important statements, which are known as the original Bhagavatam in 4 verses. These were Brahma's questions. 1. What are the forms of the Lord, both in matter and in transcendence? 2. How are the different energies of the Lord working? 3. How does the Lord play with his different energies? 4. How may Brahma be instructed to discharge the duty entrusted to him? The prelude to the answers is this verse under discussion, wherein the Lord informs Brahma that knowledge of him, the Supreme Absolute Truth, as it is stated in the revealed scriptures, is very subtle and cannot be understood unless one is self-realized by the grace of the Lord. The Lord says that Brahma may take the answers as he explains them. This means that transcendental knowledge of the Absolute Supreme Being can be known if it is made known by the Lord himself. By the mental speculation of the greatest mundane thinkers, the absolute truth cannot be understood. The mental speculators can reach up to the standard of impersonal Brahman realization. But factually, complete knowledge of transcendence is beyond the knowledge of impersonal Brahman. Thus, it is called the supreme confidential wisdom. Out of many liberated souls, someone may be qualified to know the personality of Godhead. In the Bhagavad-Gita, it is also said by the Lord Himself that out of many hundreds of thousands of people, one may try for perfection in human life. And out of many liberated souls, one may know Him as He is. Therefore, the knowledge of the personality of Godhead may be attained by devotional service only. Rahasyam means devotional service. Lord Krishna instructed Arjun in the Bhagavad-Gita because he found Arjun to be a devotee and friend. Without such qualifications, one cannot enter into the mystery of the Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, one cannot understand the personality of Godhead unless one becomes a devotee and discharges devotional service. This mystery is love of Godhead. Therein lies the main qualification for knowing the mystery of the personality of Godhead. And to attain the stage of transcendental love of Godhead, regulative principles of devotional service must be followed. The regulative principles are called vidhi bhakti, or the devotional service of the Lord, and they can be practiced by a neophyte with his present senses. Such regulative principles are mainly based on hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord. And such hearing and chanting of the glories of the Lord can be made possible in the association of devotees only. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended 5 main principles for attaining perfection in the devotional service of the Lord. The first is association with devotees, hearing. Second is chanting the glories of the Lord. Third, hearing śrī-bhagavān from the pure devotee. Fourth, residing in a holy place connected with the Lord. And fifth, worshipping the deity of the Lord with devotion. Such rules and regulations are parts of devotional service. So, as requested by Lord Brahma, the personality of Godhead will explain all about the 4 questions put forward by Brahma and others also, which are parts and parcels of the same questions. Translation once again. The personality of Godhead said, "Knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully." Om ajnanatimmirandhasya jnananjana-salakaya chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale swayam rupa kada mahyam dadati swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री-भगवान uvāca jñānam parama-guhyaṁ me yad vijñāna-samanvitam sa-rahasyam tad-aṅgaṁ cha gṛhāṇa gaditam mayā. The Personality of Godhead said, knowledge about me as described in the scriptures is very confidential and it has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So this is first of all, I want to welcome all the guests to New Vrindaban. Thank you for attending the morning program. And I want to offer my humble obeisances to all the residents of New Vrindaban. Thank you very much for allowing me to be a part of a recipient of your affection. And I seek your blessings so that we can discuss something about the glories of devotional service, about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So this statement is made by Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan. So just to set the background, the śrī-bhagavān is the conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami. Parikshit Maharaj is asking questions and Sukadev Goswami is answering questions. So that is the subject matter. The questions and answers, the discussion between Parikshit Maharaj and Sukadev Goswami. So this is chapter 9 of Canto 2. This chapter is entitled Answers by Citing the Lord's Version. The previous chapter is questions by Maharaj Parikshit. So Maharaj Parikshit asked many questions and he wanted to know about the living entities, why they get different bodies, and he wanted to know the difference between the body of the Supreme Lord and the living entity's body. And he also wanted to know about the different activities of the living entity that are leading to his different forms, about the different types of bodies in different planets. Some have long life, some have short lifespan. What is the reason that some have long lifespan, some have short? What is the duration of creation and even subsidiary creations? So, in answer to all these questions, Sukadev Goswami begins by saying that the living entity is actually a spirit soul. Therefore, he actually has no relationship with this body. But by the influence of the illusory energy of the Lord, he identifies himself with this body, and as a result, he gets various bodies, different types of bodies, one after another. When he is once again situated in his constitutional position, his original position is that of a spirit soul, a servant of the Supreme Lord. When he is actually once again situated in his constitutional position, then he becomes free from this conception of I and mine. This I and mine comes from bodily concept. This is the contamination. what is the solution to this problem? How can he come out of this conception? So in order to explain that, Sukadeva Goswami begins with the beginning of creation. At the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma was first born. He was born on a lotus flower, and everything was dark around. And he had this inspiration within his heart to create the material world, create the different living beings, different forms of life. And he was also trying to figure out what is the source of this lotus that I am sitting on. And while he was thinking like this, he heard a sound vibration. Ta-pa, ta-pa. Tapa means penance. Then he started thinking, who's the speaker? Who's speaking? He tried to find out. And he couldn't find anyone. Then he got inspired to actually sit in meditation and follow the instruction. What was the instruction? To perform penance. So for 1,000 years, he performed penance in Bhakti Yoga. After 1,000 years, the Supreme Lord was very pleased by his tapasya. And Brahma was able to see the Vaikuntha Loka, the spiritual abode of the Supreme Lord. And what did he see in the Vaikuntha Loka? He saw Lord Narayan surrounded by all his devotees. This is the transcendental world where there is no material energy, there is no birth, death, old age and disease. There is no material modes of nature. All the living entities are very, very beautiful. They have the complexion of a rain cloud, bluish complexion. And they were dazzling with their beautiful ornaments and beautiful features. And they were all engaged in worshipping, serving the Supreme Lord. The Lord was being served by Goddess Lakshmi. And he was also surrounded by his different kinds of energies. Everyone was engaged in serving the Supreme Lord. And the Lord was very mercifully inclined towards his devotees. He was smiling towards his devotees. And when Brahma saw this, when he saw this vision, he was ecstatic. He was, what's the word? Not bewildered, but he was overwhelmed. Yes, he was overwhelmed by joy within his heart. He was feeling so, and he was offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. And then the Lord began to speak to Brahmaji. So the Lord said, I am very pleased by your penance, which is performed with a desire to create. I am not very pleased easily, but in your case I am pleased with you. You may ask from me whatever you desire. From me, who am the source of all benedictions. I am the giver of all benedictions. You may ask from me whatever you desire. And then Lord Brahma, that's when he bowed down before the Lord and he asked these 4 questions that Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport here. What were the 4 questions that Lord Brahma asked? The first question was, he wanted to know about the different bodies of the Supreme Lord, both in matter and in transcendence. So we understand this. So you see, the answers, the discussion between Lord Brahma and or the questions asked by Lord Brahma and the answers given by the Lord are going to answer the questions asked by Parikshit Maharaj. Yes? The whole list of questions. What was one of the questions? He wanted to know the difference between the body of the Jivas and the body of the Supreme Lord. So Brahma, this is the way of parampara. Instead of giving his personal opinion, Sukadev Goswami is quoting from a previous acharya. That's the way of knowledge, transmission of knowledge. It comes in disciplic succession. The disciple hears from the spiritual master and he passes on the same knowledge to his disciple. And then such knowledge is authentic. So, Lord Brahma's question, he wanted to know about the different bodies of the Lord, both in matter and in spirit. So the Lord has no material body, he has a spiritual body, yet nothing in the world can exist without him. So even whatever we see in this world, matter, is coming from the Lord. So the Lord in the form of his universal form is nothing but material elements, matter. So the universal form of the Lord is also his body. But that is not spiritual, it is material. So Lord Brahma wanted to know about the bodies of the Lord, material and spiritual. The second question was, he wanted to know how the different energies of the Lord are functioning. It's with these different energies that this material world is created, it is maintained, and finally it is annihilated. How are these different energies acting? The third question, how does the Lord play with these energies? So Lord Brahma says, just like a spider makes its web. Where are the ingredients for the web coming from? They're coming from the spider, right? And the spider makes the web, and then it sits in that web. And after the whole thing, it just goes back into the spider again. That's how the Supreme Lord is working in manifesting, maintaining and annihilating this world, material world. So Lord Brahma wanted to know how the Lord plays with these material energies. And the last question is, I have a task at hand. I'm supposed to create. You have given me this universal shell. I'm supposed to fill it up with the different planetary systems, with different types of living entities. How do I go about it? Please give me some instruction. And after this, there's another important concern that Lord Brahma had. Because the first thing I forgot to mention, when the Lord was pleased, when he appeared in front of Brahma, the first thing that the Lord did was, who remembers? Yes, he shook his hands with Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is saying, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you're shaking hands with me as if I'm your equal, like a friend. And then I'm doing such an important task of creating all the living entities, working on your behalf. I can become proud about this, isn't it? It's a very exalted position. It's very easy to become proud. How may I be protected from this pride? So this was also a concern for Lord Brahma. So in answer to that, Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is answering. So that is what we are reading today. This is the Supreme Personality of Godhead saying, knowledge about me. So all those 4 questions were related to the Lord, knowledge about the Supreme Lord. So knowledge about me, as described in the scriptures, is very confidential. It is not that by going to schools, by studying books, we can get knowledge about the Supreme Lord. It's not possible. The Lord himself is saying here, what is the way to get knowledge about the Supreme Lord? It is very confidential. Rahasyam. Rahasyam means it's confidential. In Bhagavad-Gita, the 9th chapter is called the most confidential knowledge. So what is that confidential knowledge that's going to be revealed to us? So of course, I won't go into the details of that confidential knowledge. That is the following verses. This is text 31, 33 to 36. That is the main topic. The 4 shlokas in which the entire śrī-bhagavān is spoken by the Supreme Lord to Brahma. But it is confidential, that's the point. Knowledge about the Supreme Lord is very confidential. It has to be realized in conjunction with devotional service. Simply by theory, we may get different degrees. We can even get degrees of Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav. That does not mean we become realized. Of course, that can also be done in the mood of devotional service. And when it is done in the mood of devotional service, that can actually give you some realization. But not my intellectual capacity, with my memory power, I'll be able to grasp knowledge about the Supreme Lord. Ataha Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved gṛhyam indriyai sevonmukhehi jihvadau swayameva spuratyadaha. Sri Krishna Nama Adi, his name, qualities, pastimes, paraphernalia, all these things cannot be understood with my dull senses and mind and intelligence. Then how can they be understood? Seva means service. Sevan mukhehi jihvadav. And service begins with jihva, tongue. Beginning with tongue. What do we do with the tongue? We chant Hare Krishna. We glorify the Supreme Lord. And we honor Krishna's prasadam. By beginning with service done with the tongue, we can please the Supreme Lord. Swayameva spuratyadaha. He will reveal himself to us. Not that I will follow the procedure and I will conquer the Lord. I can only serve him. By devotional service, he will reveal himself to me in his own time. That's the main point. So to make this point, Srila Prabhupada brings out so many points from Bhagavad-Gita also in this purport. So, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Out of many hundreds and thousands of human beings, one person may even endeavor for spiritual life. How many people in this world make spiritual realization the goal of their life? What is the percentage of population who actually makes spiritual who am I? The first question. How many people are actually asking the question, who am I? And then pursuing it. Finding out who am I? So somebody who actually finds out who he is a spiritual living entity, living being, who perfects that path, he is a siddha. So out of many thousands, millions of people, one person is a siddha, a perfected being. Perfected being means not that he's understood the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's just understood that I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. But to understand the Supreme Lord, there are different levels of understanding. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajñānam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. The Supreme Absolute Truth is understood in different phases. The first is Brahman. This is Brahman, Siddha. To understand I'm not this body, that is Brahman. But beyond that is Paramatma. And ultimately it is Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as we are worshipping. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That understanding is not easy. It is not to be attained by jnana, by simple knowledge, and by tapasya, any type of erudition. We cannot understand the Supreme Lord by that way. Then what is the way? So, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschin yatati siddhaye. Hardly one person becomes perfect. Yatatam api siddhanam. Of many, many thousands of siddhas, kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Hardly one knows me in truth, who I am. Krishna is saying. Hardly one person knows me as I am. Right? We say Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Someone who understands Krishna as he is. Very, very rare. Then the next question, what is the qualification to understand Bhagavan? It is so rare. How can we understand? Krishna is saying, knowledge about me, it has to be revealed by him. When he himself tells us, then we can understand. When he shows himself to us, then we can understand. Naham prakashah sarvasya yoga mayā samavrita So we are all covered by the yoga maya of the Supreme Lord. We cannot understand, even though he's standing right there on the altar. Some people think he's a statue. Some people think these people are worshipping dolls. But for another person, here is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the devotees have surrendered their lives to serving Sri Radha Vrindavan Chandra. They rise early in the morning. Every day, day after day, year after year, they have dedicated their lives. You will see examples of personalities like this here in this dham. They have given up all their life for the service of the deity. They are able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is only possible for a devotee. It is not possible for a mayavadi or a jnani. By a mayavad philosophy, not mayavad philosophy, impersonalist philosophy, one may come up to the point of Brahman. That is the perfection of impersonal philosophy. They cannot go beyond that. But that knowledge is not complete. It is not complete. Complete knowledge, ultimate knowledge is to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then what to speak of all the variety, what he likes, what he does not, and what he looks like, and what his activities are, what his qualities are, about his abode. In Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami says, in fact, the Supreme Lord is telling Brahma, what is the perfection? Here in this, the Supreme Lord tells Brahma, the perfection, what is the ultimate benefit, ultimate benediction you can get from the Supreme Lord? When you can see the Supreme Lord by realization. That is the ultimate perfection of all your activities. That Brahma got. To see the Supreme Lord by realization, that is the ultimate benediction that a person can get. And the perfection of ingenuity, Prabhupada says, is to see the abode of the Supreme Lord. All the variety in the dham of the Supreme Lord. So this is available only for the devotees. It is not available by any other means, by yoga, by fasting and studying. These things will not reveal the Supreme Lord. Just a couple of quick points before I end. So the goal is to attain love. Prabhupada says rahasyam. Rahasyam I said already. That means it is confidential. How will you get this? It has to come with someone who has this knowledge. Either you hear from the Supreme Lord directly, like Arjun did, or you hear from a person who got it from the Supreme Lord, or from a person who got it from the person who got it from the Supreme Lord, or from a person who got from a person who got from another person who got from the Supreme Lord. This is called parampara, disciplic succession. That's the only way you can get this knowledge. In Bhakti Yoga. That's the only way you can get it. Now the goal is, what does Prabhupada say? That this mystery is love of Godhead. How you can understand the Lord? When you have love for the Supreme Lord, then you can understand the Lord. He is pleased by love. Bhavagrahi Janardana. Even you give a most simple offering, you give patram pushpam phalam toyam, whatever, even the poorest person, he can offer something to the Supreme Lord. You give a leaf, offer a flower, bow down in front of Krishna. Krishna becomes very pleased. But it has to be done with love. Yome bhaktya prayachati. He is looking for your love. So Prabhupada is saying, this is the mystery. What is the mystery? Love of Godhead. And love of Godhead is our goal. That is the goal. I may say, I don't have love of Godhead. Then am I doomed? I don't have love of Godhead. Well, there's hope for everyone, even the most neophyte. Love of Godhead is the goal, but even if you are neophyte, if you follow the rules and regulations strictly, that will lead us to the goal of love of Godhead. And in fact, the Supreme Lord is controlled even in the initial stages of Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means devotional service performed according to rules and regulations. If you are strictly following the rules and regulations, the Lord becomes controlled by you. Even though you may not be on the platform of spontaneous, loving devotional service. In fact, entire Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching us about devotional service performed according to rules and regulations. Because we are in this material world, we are conditioned. We cannot pretend to be on the spontaneous platform, right? We have to be truthful wherever we are. But the good news is, there is hope for us. We don't have to be on that platform. Even if we are, wherever we are, if we simply follow the rules and regulations, Krishna is very pleased with that. And we are steadily making progress. And He will reveal to us whatever else we need to know. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. Krishna provides, He carries whatever you lack. He preserves what you already have, and whatever we don't have, He will bring it to us. And then finally, Prabhupada says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave us 5 important principles in order to get this love of Godhead, right? Even for us to practice the rules and regulations, you need favorable conditions, then you can do it nicely. So what are these 5 most important? Actually, there are 64, but of the 64, the most crucial, most important principles are 5. What are they? 1, first, association with devotees. That's exactly what we are getting here, association of devotees. Prabhupada says that if you want to know about business, right, how to make money, how to sell your product, then you have to associate with the groups who are dealing with business, right? Or if you want to know something about in the medical field, you have to associate with the people who are in that field. Similarly, if you want to know about God, who should you associate with? People who want to know about God, who are devotees of God, who love God, who serve God. Therefore, the best situation to practice devotional service is in the association of other devotees. Mad-chitta, mad-gata prana, bodhayantah parasparam, kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. What is the pleasure of the devotees? They derive great pleasure when they are discussing about the Supreme Lord. They enlighten each other, talking about the glories of the Lord, talking about the glories of bhakti, devotional service. Devotees get great pleasure. So in such association, if we are in the association of such devotees, then we can make progress in bhakti rapidly. Second point is chanting the glories of the Lord. So when you do good hearing, then the natural progression is you'll begin to chant the glories. Whatever you hear, whatever touches your heart, you will go and tell your friends, you'll tell your family members how wonderful is bhakti, right? And you'll repeat the qualities of the Supreme Lord. We chant the names of the Lord every day. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes? So hearing first is association, second is chanting the glories of the Lord, the name of the Lord. Third, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day we hear Srimad Bhagavatam. That's what we are doing regularly. Simply by hearing or reading Srimad Bhagavatam regularly, everything which is inauspicious, everything which is an obstacle to your progress in devotional life is removed. And the fourth is to reside in a holy place. What is a holy place? A place which is connected with the Lord. Is this a holy place? Yes, it is. Because when you come to this place, everything in this place reminds you about the Supreme Lord. So reside in a holy place. And for some reason you're not able to reside in a holy place, turn your home into a holy place. You have an altar of Krishna. You worship Krishna. Cook for Krishna. Clean Krishna's temple. Your home becomes a holy place. Reside in a holy place. Make your heart a holy place. Always think about Krishna. Chant Krishna's glories. Remember Krishna. Remember His words in Bhagavad-Gita. Your heart becomes a holy place. That's how you are residing in a holy place. You remember about the pastimes of Krishna. You are in the holy place, isn't it? So if you are able to live physically like all the fortunate souls who are living here, very good. But for some reason, if you are not able to live, you live in your heart, in your thoughts, right? So holy place, residing in the holy place. That's the fourth one. And the fifth one is worshipping the deity of the Lord with devotion. That's what we are doing here. Starting at 4 in the morning up to 9 o'clock in the night, maybe 10 o'clock. engaged constantly, not one person. So many devotees are engaged in worshipping the Supreme Lord. So what are the 5 points? First one, association. Second, chanting. Third, śrī-bhagavān. Fourth, holy place. And fifth, worshipping Krishna, deity of the Lord. So if we do these 5 things, then this is devotional service. Such rules and regulations are parts of devotional service. So as Lord Brahma requested the Supreme Lord to answer his questions, the Lord is going to answer these questions in future. We will read in 4 statements. And those answers actually answer even those questions which are not directly asked by Brahma. Any other questions we may have, they all of them will be answered within those 4 answers given by the Supreme Lord. So I will end the talk here. If you have any quick questions or comments, we can take them quickly.
Thank you very much for your wonderful class. Really wonderful. Thank you. Can you explore a little more about controlling the Lord in Vaidhi sadhana bhakti?
Yes, Prabhuji. How the Lord is controlled by Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. So this is actually explained in the Bhakti Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami. So it is actually proved from Srimad Bhagavatam in 11th canto. There it is said that, I'll just give you one main statement, how it proves that the Lord is controlled by sadhana bhakti. When the devotees are performing devotional service, they have the power to give Krishna to others. When we are doing book distribution, does it mean that all the devotees who are doing book distribution, they are on the level of prema bhakti? No. Are they still able to give Krishna consciousness to others? Yes, isn't it? It begins with a devotee giving. So this, Prabhupada said this, the books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad-Gita, all the books, they are non-different from Krishna. So when somebody touches these books, when somebody buys these books, their bhakti begins right then and there. Bhakti cannot be given by anyone. It can only, bhakti is independent. Just like Krishna is independent, Krishna comes when he wants to come. So similarly, bhakti, being his internal energy, is also independent. It is not because of our material endeavors that bhakti can come. Right? So somebody who is still you can say a neophyte bhakta, practicing rules and regulations, he gets this power to give Krishna to others. That means Krishna is agreeing to go to whomever the devotee chooses to give. Although the devotee is not himself on the platform of prema, Krishna, being subordinate to the desire of the devotee, is willing to go to any person. And this person who is giving the book is not on the not necessarily on the platform of prema bhakti. So this is I'm unable to recollect the exact verses. It's 11th canto, chapter I forget, but text 31. There is this, and also in other places also it is said how even before prema is born, the Lord becomes controlled by the devotee. So I think this book distribution example, I think, proves that. We are able to, even someone not on the platform of prema is able to actually give Krishna to others. How can he give Krishna to others? He has, unless he has him, how is he able to give? That means Krishna has agreed to be controlled by the devotee. Like that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj, yes, sorry, Prabhuji.
So great for this class. Actually, as Prabhuji was asking the question and then you mentioning the details of Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna also speaks few verses in Bhagavad-Gita. ye tamam prabhadyante tam sada-aṅgaṁ. So little endeavor, whatever we do, Krishna is reciprocating. I mean, Krishna is not saying whether he's a madhyamaka or uttamaka. He's just seeing that desire, and is what you are expressing. So that's how the relationship between the Lord and the devotee is established. And the progress of it.
Yes.
He also brought up a very nice point to think. While you are liberating knowledge, and all these things will not help us, actually, to be honest. I mean, we can gain a lot of material knowledge, but that doesn't give any suffice or any solace to the heart. So the Lord Himself, He reveals through devotees, through spiritual master, through association, He reveals Himself different ways. The only thing is, the desire and core, the core desire which is sitting in the heart, that is will actually open up, further and then make a lot of progress.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
It's a
Yes.
very beautiful point which you brought up. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So, the free will of the devotee, that is not controlled by the Lord. So, therefore, it is essential that the devotees have to reach out to those who have not yet come to Krishna consciousness, because the Lord has given this, left this job for the devotees, regardless of which platform we may be on. But it's your desire, the devotee's desire, right, to reach out to the conditioned souls. And when, through that desire, when the devotee actually makes an endeavor, physical endeavor, that's the key. That's the only hope for all the conditioned souls. So the devotees, being the soldiers of the Supreme Lord, they are the saviors of this world. The Lord chooses to give Himself through His devotees, even if we are not on the platform of, spontaneous devotional service. Still, He's extremely affectionate. He's most, He's best known as Bhakta-vatsala. Bhakta-vatsala means one who is very affectionate to his devotees. He has a very, very soft heart for His devotees. Thank you.
Is this the verse you were looking for? From 11th canto?
Please speak about how one engages in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, if you consider me capable of proper. Yeah, this is the beginning, and then it goes. I won't go into the details now because I'm not able to refresh my memory. But yes, it's a whole section of Bhagavatam. Yeah, I can look up, and if anyone is interested, I can get back to you about that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki jai.
Grace Archana Bhakti Prabhu ki jai.